Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here is our clone trooper, and while LEGO does give you a few things to mod as weapons, it really just isn't enough, and it really does not match what the actual Star Wars blasters look like. So how can we make this little guy look a lot better? Well, today I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Today I'm going to be showing you different ways to mod your LEGO Star Wars clone troopers, along with any other Star Wars characters you may have, in terms of making their weapons look cooler and giving them brand new ones. Without further ado, let me show you these weapons. Now, it would be super easy for us to just throw in some modded, custom Star Wars blasters, but in the end, we want to be purist here, and honestly, it just doesn't look as cool when you know that it's not the real thing. So let's see what we can do to this guy. First thing we can do is add a couple things onto the barrel. So one thing LEGO Star Wars used to do a lot was add these little Technic pieces on here. And what this does is create a little bit of a suppressor look, and also just extends the gun a little bit. So you guys' blaster is going to be a little bit longer, and also has a little bit more flair to it, and it makes it feel like a little bit heavier of a weapon. But we can make it a little bit heavier. Here I'm going to use another LEGO Technic piece, and this now looks like a rotating turret. So if you see on the bottom here, you can fit that little part of the blaster into that little hole of the Technic brick, and it'll stay just how it is. Or if you want to get fancy, you can pull it out and be able to rotate it now. So it really does look like a blaster with a rotating barrel, sort of like a minigun, especially with this little plus sign. It looks like 4 different barrels spinning around, and now this really does look like a heavy weapon. Now, there are a lot of iterations of this. Probably the most popular, easy one is to just put a lightsaber hilt on there. So if we go ahead and we just snap that in, you'll see the lightsaber hilt works surprisingly well in making the blaster a little bit longer, and also giving it some extra shape and some extra flair. But we can go even further. My personal favorite blasters are these longer ones, and as you can see, I've added a stud alongside that blaster piece, and now this really does look like a heavy sniper rifle, or a very long-range blaster, and this really can work with other things. We can also try and imitate some blasters Star Wars has made before. One thing LEGO did in their 2013 Geonosis wave is add these Technic parts onto these long blasters to try and, well, recreate the longer styled Star Wars blaster, and I like this a lot more than their modern approach, which is to add the candle, sort of the candlesticks onto the end of them. I don't like that as much. I personally prefer this style a lot more, because I think that the holes on the side make it look a lot more accurate to this, which has a little bit more detailing on the front of it. And there's a couple other ways we can do this though too. If we want to make the shorter style Star Wars blaster, we can add that said candlestick onto the end of a regular sized LEGO blaster, and this I like putting in white because it honestly makes it look like a really massive suppressor, and really makes the gun look like something that not a lot of other blasters have. It really spices up the gun, and honestly, I could totally see this on like a Special Forces trooper. Now, possibly the craziest one, and bear with me, hear me out, LEGO does this themselves also. If we put a tread piece on the end of the blaster, it sort of creates this bowcaster look, and also adds what looks like might be some iron sights on the front there. And LEGO's done this with their Lando Calrissian minifigure, and I really actually like how this looks, and it's definitely the most unique out of all of them. Now, all of this is really cool, but in the end, customizing your blaster has so much more potential. That can take a blaster from this to this. In order to make a LEGO Star Wars blaster look complex like that, the first thing I'm going to do is add on the sight. Now, the way I've built this sight is by using a LEGO claw piece, and then also I have a clip, and then you could totally opt out for a clear piece here, but I think it looks a lot more like a screen, a lot more technological if you put a different colored stud here. And I'm simply just going to attach this onto the side of the blaster, push it back, and boom, you have a flipping sight. So if you want to have it up like that, that works too, but if you want to have it down, you can easily do that, and kind of, ignore this LEGO sight that isn't very big. The next thing to do is add an extra long barrel, so I'm going to add a lightsaber hilt piece here, and then I'm going to add one of the older candlestick pieces And if we snap that together, boom. Now this blaster is super long, but almost too long, and we need something to sort of even out all that length. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is to add our next thing, which is going to be a stand. Now, I made this very similarly to this, as where I just used a clip claw piece, and then I also added this stud on the bottom for some extra, balance. I'm just going to clip that on right under this lightsaber hilt piece. There we go. And boom. Now I have basically all the mods I need for this weapon to make it look as powerful and as large as possible. And now you can make LEGO Star Wars Chris Kyle. But blasters aren't the only thing that your LEGO Star Wars clone troopers will need. Now the first thing that this clone trooper is going to need is a shield. And there's a couple ways to do this. So the first one is a much more common one that I actually didn't come up with myself. I actually saw it today, and I decided to build it. And it's got some more common pieces. So basically you're going to use a 2x4 tile, and this is nice in case you want to put like a sticker on it or something and have a cooler sort of shield design, but it also can make it look a lot cleaner than if you used a plate. And you can also use a 1x2 plate here, and then a 1x2 plate with a little attachment part, and this gives you a really simple, easy shield. Now if we pop this in real quick, it fits really well and doesn't create great protection, but it definitely works, especially if you're trying to build these in large scale. Now the way that I personally prefer is the way that I came up with myself, and basically you use a Lego minifigure stand, and then you can use, if you want to, you don't need this, but you can use a 1x4 tile down the middle, or pretty much any pieces you want to add extra detailing, and then you put one of the clip pieces in the back, and pretty self-explanatory. Clip it into his hand, and this one provides a lot more protection and also looks bigger and bulkier. Alrighty, now the last thing that I'm going to be giving our clone trooper today is going to be a turret. Now, this is literally just the turret design from the Snow Trooper Battle Pack, except I removed that ugly stud shooter, which I don't mind how they look. It just really distracts from the rest of the build. And I added little tree slopes on the side to basically serve as protection for our clone. I added a clip with a lightsaber hilt as a sort of scope on the top in case he's shooting at something far range. And then I attached a string and then put a couple pieces together to make a little energy source, a little box where the E-Web turret is typically powered from, like they used to do. So yeah, that's basically how I designed the turret. Super easy, especially if you have a lot of the Snow Trooper battle packs. And also, if you want to remake this, I mean, you don't have to use that like weird Ninjago piece they use at the bottom, or the guns. You could totally just build the blaster and then some pieces down, like maybe some like tubes, or just, you could even just put some square bricks down and it would work well enough. But yeah, that's how I designed this. Now, if we want to make our actual clone trooper look cooler, you can always put different colored arms and hands and things on them, or you could use different pieces that Lego's made. But I want to do something more unique than that, so I went ahead and I put a backpack on him. This could also be used as a jetpack, and this is the same one used on the Imperial bomber guy. I mean, I'm going to be fully honest, I don't know what his name is. It's the yellow stormtrooper that came with the Imperial Assault Marauder, but yeah, I just really like the design, and I've been using it on other clone troopers, and it definitely makes them look a lot heavier in case you want to give them like a minigun or something and have a string attached to here to sort of use this as like a power source or a place to hold ammo, and then you could also pretend it's a jetpack if you wanted to. So yeah, it's just another alternative way to do that. Alrighty, and the next thing that I've given our clone trooper, or rather clone troopers now, is a cape. So I've made a few different ones to sort of show off the different ways you can do this. So this one, I don't know if this comes in any other sets, but this is the 2012 Barris Offee Jedi Knight mini cape. It's like a half cape, and it, I don't know, something about it and the way that it sort of flows, and especially the blue color, looks really good with the 501st clones and definitely gives me like ARC Trooper vibes. And then here's just a normal cape. You know the deal, but it definitely makes your clone troopers look a lot more like a commander, or maybe they're like out in rain and they need something to cover them. It can kind of look like a little bit of a like a coat maybe. I don't know, it just looks really nice. And then these are sort of half the size of the normal capes, I would say, and they came in the Mandalorian battle pack. I don't know about any other sets that they came in, but they look really cool too for sort of sort of like supporting soldiers and stuff. And I don't know, I really like how these look, especially when you sort of pull them over their arms. It kind of looks like a like a massive shoulder pauldron. But yeah, in the end, there's just some different ways you can put capes on your clones to make them look cooler. And here's just a quick example of what you can do with the minifig to just make the cape look that much better on them. You really can make some really unique custom, commanders and whatnot if you really want to, just by giving them a cape and changing up a couple parts on them. And I wanted to give an honorable mention to the Flamethrower. Now this is a really simple Flamethrower design I made, literally just 2 pieces. You just take the bigger, like way larger Star Wars blaster, stick a little tiny blaster into it, and then you can make this. This is my custom Flame Trooper guy. Really out there, but I really like how this minifig turned out. But basically, the reason I didn't show it is because, as you can see, the part doesn't fit in his hands all the way, and even with that, it's still pulling the hand out of his arm just a tiny bit, and then it's also pushing his arm this way, so it's not very good for the minifig. So it's really cool in theory, but when you actually try to use it on your minifigs, it's really hard to get to fit well without actually breaking part of it. Well, there you go. There's some ways to make your Lego Clone Trooper look that much cooler with some custom accessories. And if you enjoyed, please let me know, because Legos aren't the main thing I do on my channel, and if people enjoy it, then it'll definitely let me know what people want to see, and I will definitely make more videos like this, which I would really like to. So, typical YouTuber baggy stuff, comment, like, subscribe, whatever. I don't really care. Just show me, if you like this video, what you want me to do in the next one. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. God bless.